They actually expect discipline in the classrooms. It's a fundamentally different model, but it's the only model that's going to let us survive in the 21st century. I want to close with two big ideas and then take questions. First, we're going to get 4 to 7 times as much new science in the next 25 years as we had in the last 25 years, and 65% of it's going to come outside the U.S. There are more scientists alive today than all of previous human history. They are better connected with email and with cell phones. Every year they get better computers and better lab equipment, and they are increasingly tied to the marketplace by royalty, venture capital, and licensing. One of the things I would urge you to think about is to build almost a science study group that just looks around, sits on the internet, you can do it for free, and just scans for interesting ideas and starts looking for entrepreneurs and tries to figure out how to take some of the unused buildings and turn them into entrepreneurial spaces and begin to find a way, because again, you're not far from an international airport. You have the potential to become very attractive and very intriguing to entrepreneurs from all over the world. The second thing I'd recommend you think about is the very reality of China and India. China and India are not problems, they're facts. There are 1,300,000,000 Chinese, there are 1 billion Indians. They have every right to pursue happiness. And they're going to roll up their sleeves and they're going to work hard and pursue it. The choice for us is, do we want to roll up our sleeves and compete, or do we want to relax and decay? Because there's no middle ground. If we want to compete with them, I believe that we are the most unique country in history. We attract more people from more places and integrate them into a dynamic future better than any society in the history of the world. And if we're prepared to rethink what we're doing, we will, in my judgment, be remarkable in the next 50 years. I have 2 grandchildren, Maggie, who's 10, and Robert, who's 8. I want them to be in their 40s and 50s in the most productive, most creative, and most prosperous country in the world, because that's the necessity if they're going to be in the strongest and safest and freest country. For that to happen, we have to rethink litigation, regulation, taxation, education, health, energy, and infrastructure. And that's a lot. You can see what we're doing about it at americansolutions.com and at healthtransformation.net. You can get both of those by going to my first name, newt.org, if you don't remember those 2 titles. But we're working across that whole range. But I'll close with this example, because I want to set for you how big the change is going to be. I wrote a novel about Pearl Harbor. From December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese attacked us, to August 1945, when the Japanese surrendered, is 3 years and 8 months. In 44 months, we mobilized 15.5 million Americans in uniform. We built the B-17, B-24, and B-29. We built a 2-ocean Navy. We launched across North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Denmark, Holland, and conquered Germany. At the same time, we fought our way across the Pacific and defeated Japan. 44 months. It recently took 23 years to add a 5th runway to the Atlanta airport. We have become a country whose litigation, regulation, and taxation is crippling us. And we're going to fundamentally... So, one of the steps you could take as you dream big and start developing the panhandle of the future and the wheeling of the future is every time you run across a really stupid federal regulation, make a note of it. Get your county commission to petition your congressional delegation. Every time you run across a stupid state regulation, make a note of it. Get your state legislators to go and start changing it. We're only going to create the country our children need if we're prepared to change the mess we've inherited. And we're only going to change the mess we inherit if we get up every morning and have the moral courage to apply 2 + 2 = 4, and insist on telling the truth about our challenges, and insist on finding solutions. I'm thrilled to be here. I think we have 15 minutes, and it's okay to take questions, and I'd be glad to just toss them. And I think there are I know there's a microphone here. there several microphones? Or just right here? Okay, so, but if people want to line up right down the middle or whatever you want to do it, I think it would work better if, having done this a lot in my life, if you had people come to the microphone. Because if you try to walk the microphone to people in the crowd the size of this, now this is assuming somebody will show up.
Newt, this is a high valley that you recognize is famous for steel, coal, aluminum, and now we just have the largest natural gas find in North America. The cap and trade is trying to kill us. What are we going to do to these antagonistic politicians?
You have to beat them. Look, I'm very straight about this. Now, I'm not saying beat Democrats or beat Republicans. I'm not picking on any individual. But you raised a very good point. If you look at the scale of our breakthrough in shale and natural reserve, and let me tell you my personal position very strongly. I do not believe that bowing to a Saudi king is an energy policy. If I were you, I would launch a petition drive. I would get every person who has property rights with natural gas, with shale on their property. I would get every person who hopes to make a living producing that natural gas. We think we have the largest natural gas discoveries in the world, and the shale that runs from western New York all the way down to Texas. And I would organize across those states. I would have people sign petitions. I would have people take out radio ads. I'd have people take out newspaper ads. I'd have people get on talk radio. And I would say to the delegation of every single state, I would say to our inspector, if you vote for this stuff, don't plan to come to Western Pennsylvania because we'll picket every single event. I would say to your two senators from here, how can you represent the biggest coal state and a major natural gas state?